Okay.
That's fine. Sorry, yeah, I was on mute.
Thank you. That's okay. So can everyone see my my PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I'll start. Okay, so welcome to Thameside Primary School. This is our logo that we have at the school because we're very near the river, which is something we absolutely utilise all of the time. Actually, running club this morning that I was doing with the children, 3 swans actually flew over in formation and the children were so excited. So our logo is there with the swans and the cygnets after it as well. So we've just done an introduction of the staff. I'll just say very briefly because I know 2 parents have just joined us. So I'm the head teacher, Sophie Greenaway, who is very sporty, very passionate about being at Thameside and working at Thameside, adores reading, loves sport, has 3 boys myself. And next to me is...
I'm Ingrid Burton, the Deputy Head Teacher. I've been at Thameside for about 12 years now. And I've been really passionate about putting together our PSCHE curriculum, which is all about children's wellbeing.
And then next we have...
I'm Christina Calvert, Assistant Head Teacher. I lead Yellow Team, which is Year 1 and 2, and lead on phonics and learning to read.
And I'm Charlotte Rollinson. I'm the Inclusion Manager in Senko, and it's my job to basically make sure everyone across the school is included.
Thank you. So plan of the meeting today, we're going to give you some information about our school, and then we're going to do a sort of tour around the school. You ask us any questions in a follow-up phone call afterwards. So we have got the phone numbers of everyone who signed up for our tour. If you didn't send in your phone number, if you just email admin the address that you set up the tour with, giving us your email address through, and give us your phone number, then somebody will get back to you. We do have a large number. Oh, someone's just come in, I think. Charlotte, are you able to admit that parent?
Yes, done.
Thank you. Excellent. We do have a large number of parents today because it's our last one, but we will aim to speak to you by the end of today. So a bit more about our school. So our motto and values. So our motto at school is progressing together inside and out. We actually came up with that motto about 1.5 years ago now, because it's very, very important to us as a school that we support children to make progress, to better themselves inside and out. And that is, it's really important that they learn how to be a good citizen, that they show the school values, that they know how to be an asset and contribute positively to the community. But also it's very important on the outside that we give them the skills they need to succeed in later life as an adult as well, and at secondary school and in work and further on. We also do a lot of work outside, in the outside environment as well, and we do work in the inside curriculum. So Charlotte, can you admit that parent as well? Do you have a lot of parents joining us today? So our community values. So we're a rights respecting school, and hanging up in the hall is our vision. So what you can see there a picture of is a huge canvas that hangs in our school hall. And when I first joined the school as deputy head, I worked on this canvas with the school council at the time, and we put together the community values, and we actually put them into this rainbow with our swan and our cygnets. And it was thinking about at school, we teach children to have a growth mindset, and that is about saying that you can't do things is not acceptable. It's about saying you can't do it yet, and that you will put in the perseverance and the practice that's needed to make that progress and achieve. So that's where the school had come up with the values spelling brain, because they wanted children to use their brain power to have that growth mindset. What I then, when I came to the school, very much with the children, we looked at those words and thought about putting that into a vision, a pictorial vision. And actually I saw rain and thought of rainbow, and actually it's worked very, very well for us as a school. We color coded all our values, and so the children in assemblies on Friday, they might get a red belonging postcard sent home because they've shown belonging in school. We value the children showing our school values. We use them in the language in the classroom. We celebrate the children that are showing independence, no limits in what they're doing. So it's a common language across our school. And also it was fantastic because we have lots of rainbows in our school. We even have a rainbow class. And when COVID lockdown was happening, rainbows were everywhere. And it was a real reminder for children about how brilliant our NHS are, but also about our school and remembering that they're part of our school. So we had Ofsted in, I think it was March 2016, and that the school was deemed to be a good school. We had Ofsted, we managed to get it in before lockdown happened. So we had Ofsted November 2019, so coming up to a year ago now. And they inspected our whole curriculum, safeguarding at school, and we were deemed to continue to being a good school. And I've just taken a snapshot. So what happens now, this Ofsted have their new framework that they inspect schools with, and it is particularly challenging and difficult because the expectations on schools and their curriculums has just gone up and up over the years. And we were really pleased with the letter that Ofsted now write to parents after their inspections. They don't do a report now, they do a letter. You can read the whole letter. You can access it through our website in About Us as Ofsted and results page. But these are some snapshots from the letter. So the first line was, every pupil is important in this school. People are cared for and feel happy and safe, feel safe and happy. And that's absolutely what Thameside is all about. Everyone is important to us. We celebrate differences. We are inclusive. We celebrate the children that have talents in certain areas. We push children on to places that they don't even know that they could get to in their learning, and really get excited by that depth of knowledge. And we support the children that really need it in the different areas of needs that they have. So we're incredibly proud of what you can see written there, but there is more in the letter as well if you'd like to read that. So results. So in 2019, May 2019, the children did sit their SATs, and what you can see there's foundation stage, which is FS, and then you've got Key Stage 1, which is Year 2, and Key Stage 2 is Year 6 results. And EXP means the percentage of children that are meeting the expected standard, and then EXC in foundation stage, percentage achieving exceeding, and then you've got expected, and GDS is greater depth standard in Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. So our results over the years have gone up and up. They changed curriculum expectations about three years ago now, and they changed all. Basically, children had to write at the old level of Year 6 by the end of Year 2, and expectations gone through the roof. And children and teachers have coped remarkably well nationally with those expectations increasing. And our results have only gone up and up over the years. So those are the latest SATs results that you can see. Key Stage 1 is on teacher assessment, and they have some SATs papers that they do take to help inform that. And foundation stage is taken on assessments that the teachers carry out on a day-to-day basis. They're always looking at the children, talking to the children, and recording what they can do. So in 2020, there were no SATs because schools were closed. We were open to key workers and to vulnerable children, but we were closed to the majority of children at our school. So SATs didn't happen nationally, but what we had done actually just before SATs had school closure had happened is we had some mock SATs in Year 6, so they helped inform our results in reading, writing. SPAG is spelling, punctuation and grammar, and maths. And in Key Stage 1, we also get moderated. I think every year since I've been here, we get moderated by the local authority on our teacher assessment judgments in Year 2, and we get 100% accuracy. So we know what our children can do and what they're capable of doing. So there are some results there for you to have a look at.
Okay, so we're also really proud at Thameside of our awards, and as I mentioned earlier, children's wellbeing is at the forefront of everything that we do at our school. And we firmly believe that happy children learn better, which is the motto of the Inside Out team that we work with. And we are the only school to ever have achieved the Inside Out Award. We've worked very closely with Stephanie and her team, looking at what Inside Out means and children's well-being and happiness, and how we can bring that into the school. And we looked at what the process would be to achieve the award. So we're really proud of being recognised as being a school that does put the children's happiness and well-being at the heart of our school life. We're also really proud that in 2018 we won the Pride of Reading Awards. So those are two fantastic achievements for us.
So Ofsted also picked up that at Thameside we're a really inclusive school and that pupils with special needs are supported really well, and we're very proud of that. We work with a wide variety of external professionals. Sorry, a lot of the things on this slide are very small, but so I'll explain a little bit if you can't read it all. We work with lots of external people to come in and support children who have additional needs. So that could be, we have visiting therapists from the NHS, including speech and language, physiotherapists, occupational therapists. We also have an educational psychologist who comes in to work with us, as well as a primary mental health worker. We also offer some therapies at school. So we have visiting art therapist and a visiting play therapist. And we've actually trained one of our own teaching assistants in offering drawing and talking therapy as well. We do have a very high proportion of children on our inclusion register. Some of those children might have a couple of extra interventions from their class staff, all the way up to children who have full-time one-to-one support in the school. So we have around 20% of the school have a recognised special educational need, and we do have a very high proportion of children as well, comparatively to other schools of children who have an education, health and care plan. All our teachers are very experienced in supporting children with additional needs, but we also have 3 qualified SENCOs at school. So Sophie Greenway, the head, is a qualified SENCO. I'm a qualified SENCO, and we've also just put another teacher, Mrs. Porter, through that accreditation as well, to make sure that we can offer these children the support they need. I'm not going to talk any more about special needs now, because it is quite an individual thing to particular pupils. So if you have a child that you think has a special educational need, then hopefully it'll be me giving you a ring later. But if not, please do let us know and I can give you a phone call.
So at Thameside, we follow the therapeutic thinking approach to behaviour, and this is an approach that is a Reading-wide approach. So the police have been trained in therapeutic thinking, educational psychologists, social workers, all professional partners have been trained in therapeutic thinking. And essentially what that means is we understand that when children have positive experiences, they create positive feelings in the children, and those positive feelings create positive behaviour. So on the reverse of that, we understand that when children have negative experiences, they have negative feelings, and those negative feelings create negative behaviour. And sometimes that behaviour can be unsocial behaviour, and we wouldn't deem that as being unsafe. It's just maybe, you know, when your friends invite you out as an adult and you think, actually, I'd quite like to stay on the sofa and watch a film on my own tonight. That's not hurting anybody. That's just you being unsociable that evening because you don't feel like joining in. And that we sometimes see that with children in the classroom. Sometimes they just don't feel like joining in. And of course, we monitor that behaviour and we put in support that's needed. Sometimes when children have negative experiences and that creates the negative feelings and the negative behaviour, it can be antisocial. And that's where children's behaviour needs extra help. Maybe a behaviour plan put in place in working with parents, working with external professionals to ensure that that child's needs are met. So we very much look at what behaviour is telling us as a school, and as I said, that's a Reading-wide approach as well. So at Thameside, we do recognise it's not about controlling behaviour, but it's about teaching behaviour as well. And as Mrs. Burton made reference to that she's really proud of, and quite rightly she should be. Ofsted inspected our bespoke that we've written ourselves. I say we're all we, it was a team of teachers with Mrs. Burton at school. Our bespoke PSHCE curriculum that's been written at Thameside to incorporate everything we feel children living in this locality, in this community by the river, etc., need to know to keep safe. And we instill our values into children through those lessons as well. We also use the Inside Out toolkits that we have to help children have times for mindfulness and that space as well, because everyone needs that time to relax, and we teach children how to relax and how to de-stress as well. So we model positive talking between adults at the school and positive relationships, and relationships are taught, the diversity in relationships is taught at school as well. We prioritise pro-social behaviour. We praise the children that we see behaving well in lessons and focusing and following their class charters with what they've agreed is their responsibility in the classroom. For example, to listen to each other. We give positive reinforcement and rewards. We don't use bribes. We don't say, oh, we'll give you this if you do this, because then the child never learns actually what are they really doing it for. They need to be doing it for themselves and having that recognition because they've tried so hard, not, oh, do this and I'll buy you that, because that doesn't work in the long term. And we give comfort and forgiveness each day. You know, if a child's had a hard day, that's how we teach resilience. It's through forgiveness, because everyone makes mistakes, and it's about how we learn from those mistakes. But it's not about holding grudges on children. Even if it's been a particularly difficult day for a child, they leave the school with an adult telling them they're looking forward to seeing them tomorrow, and they're greeted with a big beaming smile as well.
Okay, so we've done a lot of work on our curriculum last year, and we're continuing this year. So we're looking at the activities that we organise. We're really trying to promote the learning and growth of development of our children here, and focusing on what we want the children to achieve in each of our lessons. We're focusing on our foundation subjects. So those are subjects like geography, history, science, PE, ICT. We always start with the national curriculum, and we look at the extracurricular activities that we can offer to really enrich the children's experiences. So you can see we've got the 5 C's, the coherence, compassion, creativity, credibility, and the community into all of our curriculum. And we've worked really hard to think about the logical arc to the curriculum. How are we building on the curriculum each year? We want our children to feel compassion. Is it developing compassion in the children here? We want them really to buy into what we're teaching them. We do a lot of it through storytelling, and the children really feel that they know the characters and they want what's right for the characters that the teachers create. They really feel compassion for those people that might have to be making changes. In year 1, they have a lady who lives in Caversham, and they're looking at history within living memory, and they're looking at how that lady feels with the changing technology, her family moving away and having to deal with communicating maybe via technology and Skype and things like that. So they are building up great compassion for these characters. Creativity. We want them to be able to apply their knowledge in unfamiliar contexts and show fluency, recognising that if they're looking at conflict, how was conflict in the Roman time? And now we're looking in World War II. So being able to draw on experiences of where there have been conflict throughout history. Credibility, making sure it's the curriculum's accountable and the knowledge, and making sure children's knowledge is secure. It's very much about the children knowing more, remembering more, doing more, and feeling more. And we do that through lots of rapid reasoning at the start of each of our topic lessons. We also use it in maths. So we revisit things really quickly with a quick question. Lower down the school, the children might use thumbs up, thumbs down, and they might have a multiple choice question to help engage them and get that memory, putting things into their long-term memory. And the community, it's much more tricky at the moment with COVID, but we are being very creative with getting the community in, how the local community can support us, reaching out to, we've had estate agents that have supported us in the past. We have lots of people in the surrounding areas that we can link our curriculum to. So where possible, we bring the community in, fire brigade and people like that. This is an example of a planning. This is a front sheet of planning that a teacher would do. This is for year 2. You can see it's quite a big question that we're expecting our year 2s to start with. So it's really challenging. If it had been possible, should the Great Fire of London have been stopped? What implications would it have had? So they all start off, yes, we don't want the fire, you know, people died, destroyed houses. But then you start thinking about, well, if it had stopped, what impact would that have had on life? What you know, how would that have changed the way that people move forward? And you can see all of those 5 C's of the teachers planning out, and then that's broken down into weekly activities for the children to engage in. There are other examples of planning for foundation and other year groups on our website that you can see as well.
Okay, so what we do throughout our curriculum in all subject areas is we thread through reading, and it's about, we want to instill a love of reading in children, but we also want them to be able to use reading to learn more. So basically we have 2 sections in our school. We have leaders that work on learning to read, and then we have leaders that work on reading to learn. So some examples of things that we do in reading at Thameside. Top right and bottom right, we've got we do World Book Day. We do dressing up. Staff love to dress up. I love dressing up personally, and the children love to be engaged as well. Last time we did World Book Day, we chose to do it based on a book that the children were looking at in their lessons, to really give them an opportunity to bring that to life in a day. So year 6, for example, all came as Robin Hood characters because they were looking at Robin Hood, and that worked really well. We had Narnia in year 4 and loads of creative. Someone came as the stone table. It was amazing. Wasn't it? Do you remember that? So good. And someone came as the wardrobe, and it opened up and there was all the things in it, and the snow, and it was just incredible. So it's a real chance to get immersed into the book. We also have a very well-stocked library. I'll show you some pictures of that later on, in the middle, where children love going and using, they are taught independently to use the scanning in, scanning out system. So it works like a proper library. Top in the middle, we've got a little girl with her penguin. So every big term, we set a extreme reading challenge, and at the end of it, so we have Christmas one, Easter one, and a summer one. And what happens is then, through democracy, the children get to vote on their favourite picture that's been submitted for an extreme read, and then the winner gets a prize. So just in case you do join us, a top tip is to include an animal somewhere. They seem to do really well with animals. So the penguin won that year, and we had meerkats another year as well. Beale Park had let this child sit in the meerkat enclosure with a book. So I don't know how he got them to do that, but he did. And it did look like they were reading the book. So animals are a top tip. We also have World Storytelling Day, which is the symbol you can see in the middle. And we get involved in that every year, and we think about telling stories in other languages, and parents are fantastic. Miss Calvert will talk a bit more about that later, but parents are fantastic at coming in and reading stories in other languages to classes and children as well. This year we've had to be think round COVID safety, and parents have sent in videos of them reading stories in other languages, which we've shared with children. At Thameside, we're incredibly fortunate that we have over 33 languages spoken at our school, which is just fantastic. We absolutely love that fact, and we also have lots of teachers that can speak many languages themselves as well. On the virtual bookshelf that you can see on the left, we have 4 books. There will soon be 5 after half term. So we have a book week at school, and it's generally the week after October half term, and that's where children across the whole school, we look at the same book together in guided reading lessons. The one we're doing this year is called The Night Gardener, which is an absolutely beautiful book by the Tan brothers. And part of that week, we have a Key Stage 2 poetry slam with a trophy, so the teachers get very competitive. And we also have a whole school book that's written and produced at the end of that. And what happens is each class, so we've got 14 classes because we're 2 form-entry, each class gets a turn, an allocated time to write the next bit of the book, and then the next bit gets written by the next class, and so on. So only the class that writes the last little bit gets to see the whole story. It's a bit like that fold down monster drawing game that you might have done as a child. So the children absolutely love that, and we produce those books together as a school. We also have at the bottom in the corner, you can see a little picture of our reading target cards. So when your child starts our school in foundation stage, they will be assessed by a member of staff. They will be given the right level of reading book and target card to start on, and then they move through the colours at the bottom on their target cards, and they then get to accelerated reader. We have had some children, we did start with accelerated reader in Key Stage 2, but we have got some children reading accelerated reader books in Year 1 now, because they've made such good progress with their reading. So when they get to accelerated reader, what the children get to select books from the library, from Book Corner, really top quality books that they want to choose to read from, and they read the book and then they take a little quiz, and the quiz then tells them what level of book to read next. And what it does as well is tracks the number of words that children read. So at the end of each term, I've got that job today, I count up how many words each child has read. I've got a spreadsheet for the whole school, because unfortunately accelerated reader resets every year, and I don't want their words to be lost that they've read. So I keep a personal track on it all. We award badges. We have a millionaires badge, 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, and I'm going to have to create a 20-word millionaire badge, because the boy's just got his 15 millionaire badge. He's reading a lot. He's definitely going to need a 20 millionaire badge before he leaves. We have a Millionaires Wall of Fame in the library that you'll see later, and we also have one on the website as well of anyone who's been awarded those badges, and they just love that bit of competition and tracking of the word count as well. We teach phonics by Read, Write, Inc. And the children, we do reading workshops for parents as well, which explains more, but it's part of reading. It's an important part of reading when children first start at school.
So writing, we love writing at Thameside, and we like to engage the children in many exciting ways as we can. The teachers are really great at being creative with their writing. You can see on there the Talk for Writing process. That's the process that's used from foundation up to Year 6. So we always start with the children just having a go at doing some writing. Might be mark making, it might be writing some sentences. And then we have a creative hook to really hook the children in. So you can see that that's a dinosaur that was in our foundation stage. Foundation do a topic on dinosaurs. So they were writing some dinosaur fact books. They made little mini books with them. But to hook them into dinosaurs, suddenly there's dinosaurs in the playground. What can we learn about it? You know, what does he look like? Let's describe him. So lots of language coming from having a dinosaur visit. The caution box was a box that was in Year 3. The teacher simply put that in their classroom, and the children were told they couldn't open it. It appeared. Where had it appeared from? What was it doing there? And it was left there for days, and the suspense that the children developed was great. And when the PCSOs came to visit for another reason, they thought that they'd come for the box. So we were trying to get the children to actually experience that feeling. We want you to write about suspense, so we want you to have a feeling of it. So we have lots of hooks. We also relate books into all of our writing units. So every writing unit has a book allocated to it. So in Year 4, they've looked at Aladdin for they write Finding Tales. So the book that they share with the children is Aladdin, and they use that to get lots of writing experiences from. So they'll do some descriptive writing. It's really carefully mapped out which books work with which writing genres. In Year 1, they're doing the traditional stories. So they're reading lots of traditional stories to the children, and then they learn orally a very simplified story that the children can then have a go at writing. It's great to see the younger children putting actions to their model text that the teachers write, and they internalise all the language patterns by learning the text to support the writing, and they absolutely love doing that. So they're really supported on their writing journey. We also are very proud of our bespoke handwriting books that we have at Thameside, and you can see it spelled like Thameside Rocks. This is something me and Mrs. Thomas, the foundation phase leader, put together to support handwriting across the school. And there are 4 books for foundation, 4 for year 1 and 4 for year 2.
So maths at Thameside, I trained about three years ago now as a maths mastery specialist teacher, and we use the teaching for maths mastery approach at Thameside. And because I love books so much, I love this illustration from Going on a Bear Hunt, because it's kind of gives you a good idea of what teaching maths mastery, what the approach is all about. So it's about children all starting on the journey together, and what that means is that all the children are in the lesson together, and they do a fluency starter, and the fluency starter needs to link to the learning in the lesson. So I give the example of, if we're teaching about telling the time, a really key skill children need is counting in 5. So the fluency starter might link to that and be counting in multiples of 5, for example. So we all start together, and then what happens is the teacher does really model scaffold modelling of the key learning point in the lesson. So what is it that they want everybody to know how to do in maths, the knowledge and skills that they want them to gain by the end of that lesson? Really modelled, really careful instruction. And then the children have a go themselves. Now, some children at that point might need a little support along the way. They might need it heavier scaffolded. They might need to do some repeated practice at that point of that key skill, so they've really got it for the next day. However, children who feel more confident, they get let loose, they get to explore deeper into the words, and we do depth of knowledge challenges. So the children that have got that key learning concept, we push them further on in the lesson. So they get involved in investigations, a really big challenge at the end of the lesson as well, which they absolutely love. And they know it doesn't matter if they can't do it, they just love the attempt to do it as well, and the challenge. What it is that no children will be left alone and isolated. The idea in teaching maths mastery is that everybody gets that key learning point, so nobody falls behind, and children don't race off on their own journey looking for something else. It's that everyone achieves and makes progress at the level that we want them to. They all get to the same point, but some do go on further, but it's getting to that point together that's really important. So I trained as a Berkshire, Bucks and Oxfordshire Maths Hub specialist. We're now part of the Mobius Maths Hub in Reading, because they've reorganised and restructured them. A very famous Maths Hub is the White Rose one, and you might have heard about that as a parent if you've got other children at another school or an older child. So they are fantastic Maths Hub that have created lots of planning and lots of support and lots of structure for schools. We use the White Rose as a sort of backbone of our planning, but as we do with everything, we've Thamsided it, and we've made teaching maths at Thameside our own. I actually am doing some training for the local authority in maths for other schools this academic year, which I'm really looking forward to doing as well. Ways to instill a love of number and love of maths at Thameside. So we have a number day, and that's in the top right. And as part of that, we raise money for the NSPCC, because again, we want to give back to the community and back to society as well. So the children bring in £1 to wear a onesie, which is why you can see them out of uniform in that picture. And because we love books as well so much, we focus maths around a book. Every year group's got a different book. That's year 4. They focus theirs on billions of bricks. And so all their maths is done centered around that book that day. And so theirs uses Lego, which absolutely goes down a treat. They absolutely love it. We do lots of maths outside. You'll see our playgrounds later as well, which you can see the markings behind the little boy holding up the trophy. So we have to help support the children be fluent in number facts that they need to be successful in lessons. We have something called Maths Club, and essentially what it is it's 3 sheets, and the child needs to pass each sheet, and then they become a member of that club. So 3 sheets in Club 11, 3 sheets in Club 22, etc. It goes up to 99, and then you get Mega Brain. And he was able to do, I think it was nearly 100 questions in 3.5 minutes. It was pretty incredible. So they get a trophy at that point. But the children absolutely love it. And if you miss it one day, they're not happy about it. Top left, we have an example of an enterprise project. So the children in year 5 and 6, we have they're given £20 twice a year, so they get 2 big terms. They get a chance to do this and to raise as much money as they possibly can with their own ideas for an enterprise project. What they raise for their class, they can spend on their class, on what they choose to, and that's absolutely fine. It's giving them a chance for that creative thinking and entrepreneurial skills as well. Other year groups across the school have other math skills that they focus on. For example, we have money in year 1, and we have measuring in year 2. So it's not that everyone else doesn't do that, but it's a key focus skill that we've identified, and do a bit more of that in our starters and things like that in lessons. Bottom right, we have a school bank. So the children can bring their pocket money or birthday money, and they can invest it, and it will make what's the word? Interest. My mind went blank. It will make interest for the children, and they absolutely love saving it, and they can withdraw it whenever they like. So it just works like a real bank. A marvel at my maths, we tweet a lot and celebrate a lot of what we do across the school, and maths is a really big part of that. Bottom right as well, we have our Some Dog certificate. We celebrate top 5 students each week, and it's in Key Stage 2. We ask that the children do half an hour on this programme a week to help with their fluency skills as homework, and for Key Stage 1 and Foundation Stage it's optional, and they still have a login, and the children are giving us feedback. We were some years ago now choosing between 2 programmes to use, and they voted for this one because they really liked it.
So at Thameside, we've built really strong links with parents and the community. At the moment, we're working towards the Leading Parent Partnership Award. We like to have lots of volunteers into school. Obviously, at the moment, some of these have to be done virtually. So as we talked about earlier, we've had European Language Day and had parents come in to read stories to children in their own languages. We've also had partnerships with Chartwells, our catering company. They've come in and run workshops for children and parents. We run workshops for parents to help them understand what's going on at school. So we've had reading workshops, maths workshops, and behaviour workshops. We've also worked with specific parents who have asked for workshops. So we've run fussy eaters workshops with the school nurses, and we've also run some anxiety workshops as well. So we look for many ways to enrich our curriculum. So if we go through some of these pictures here, you can see in the top left, we've got Rap Sphere here. Year 6s during book week to learn about Shakespeare through rap. We also have underneath Berkshire Maestros work in year 4. So all of year 4s get to learn an instrument throughout the first term, and then they can carry that on. We also have links with Rocksteady, where children can be part of a band, and we also have individual music lessons as well going on. You can see in the centre, this is our stage. So we're very lucky to have a fully functioning stage, sound, light system. So each year group can have productions. This year at the moment, we're currently working on filming our Christmas productions so that parents can still have that opportunity to see it. We've also have topic days. So you can see in the bottom left, there are children dressed up in their Viking outfits. So they'll have a Viking day, and we have Roman days. So children get the opportunity to come in, dress up and immerse themselves in their topic. In the top middle there, this is our aspiration afternoon. So we invite parents and people from the local community into school for the afternoon, and they talk about their jobs and their careers, and children get the opportunity to learn about those different jobs, and they also get to come in dressed up as the future self. We also have, you can see there's some children lying down doing belly breathing, they're doing their mindfulness, and we also have enrichment days linked to a book. This year it's Our Changing World, and children get the opportunity to go to different classes, work with different teachers and learn all about a book and do fun activities. So you can see they're doing some art there.
And so we also have a range of PE and sporting opportunities for children. We've spent, so all schools get a PE grant. For the number of years now, we've spent ours on employing two fully trained gymnastics coaches to come in, that you can see in the the photo at the top left. They aren't in this year because of COVID related reasons, but we'll hopefully have them back in the future. But the children have had this coaching for many years now. So the year sixes have had it since they were in foundation stage, and it's the level of coaching that you would get if your child went to a gymnastics club, and the skill set that they have learned is absolutely phenomenal. In the middle there, you can see the children playing Quidditch. We had this in a couple of years ago on World Book Day. We are actually having it again soon. They're coming in. The children really love it because the teachers have to put on the golden bib, and they are the snitch, and they have to run away, and the children have to follow the rules of Quidditch, which actually is a national sport now and recognised. So they love that. It's lots of fun. We also have team opportunities. With COVID, that's quite difficult at the moment, but we have got two very, very proactive PE leads. One herself is a dance teacher, and the other one was a gymnast in GB herself and a gymnastics teacher before going into teaching. So they're incredibly passionate about sport, and they took the children out to numerous events. So if we were invited to take part in something, we did. If we were invited for a match, we go. And they keep track of all the children and all the opportunities they've had to ensure that every child gets an opportunity to be involved if they'd like to. Our PE lead, Miss Mulligan, even set up our own special needs boccia tournament at our school and invited other schools so that children with all levels of needs and abilities could take part in sporting opportunities. We have got in the bottom right corner, that's a little section of our mile track. So every day the children get an opportunity. There's two parents coming in that you can see in that photo as well. We have got in our timetables, every class goes out for 10 minutes a day, and the children can have the opportunity to run as many laps as they can, and they keep a log of how many times they're running around in their daily mile passports. They get certificates for distances run. They can also walk and talk, but it's that bit of exercise every day that they're getting on that track that's really, really important.
So we love to encourage lots of learning outside of the classroom and make as many links to our learning inside and outside. You can see in the very middle there, we've got some year 2 children went to the seaside because their topic was the seaside. And above that, the reception teachers have gone out to the river and they've had a boat trip as they were learning about pirates. In the top left, we have in year 5, our mini police. So they get the chance to go to the police station, attend events, and they get their own uniform as well, which they're really pleased about. We have links with our inside out, so you can see a child on a horse there. So children get to go horse riding and spend the day going outside and learning lots of different things. Underneath, we've got some children in our outside classroom, so teachers can book out the classroom, and instead of having their lesson inside, they can go outside, whatever the weather. We also have our gardening club there, which children are part of. At the moment, they're weeding and preparing the beds ready to plant. In the top right, we've got a year 6. They were really lucky to go to the Harry Potter studios with a kind donation from Blue Coats School. And again, this year, I think Year 6s are looking to go to Harry Potter Studios again. You can see some children there outside by the local river. So our children go to nature school in reception, Year 1 and Year 2. So every fortnight they'll get to do their lessons outside by the river, gets them the chance to learn about the seasons and do their science outside. Underneath, we've got some children went to the local weir in Year 5, and we also have links to a special needs adventure playground as well, so you can see that in the bottom right hand corner.
Two other experiences that we are really proud to be able to offer our children is a camp night in Year 4. We have an outside company, the Outdoors People, and even though we weren't able to run it in the summer as planned, we worked really closely with the local authority, and we were able to ensure that those Year 4 children had their camp night at the start of Year 5 and make sure that it was all COVID safe. This is a fantastic opportunity for the children. For some of them, it's their first night away from home. They learn great independence because they have to put those tents up under the supervision of the instructor. So the first job the children have is to put the tents up. They take part in a range of activities, from purifying really dirty puddle water and drinking it at the end of the session when they've made hot chocolate. For some reason, they love eating the bugs. They get to eat bugs as part of their Bugs Buns and Blazes. And they obviously get to sleep in the tent, although we don't get much sleep overnight. They have to do things like make their own packed lunch the next day. So it's a really fantastic opportunity and a great preparation for our trip to RYG to Rossagwalia, which is a residential trip which takes place usually in January. And the children go on the Sunday and they return to school on the Friday. And they get to do lots of fantastic outdoor activities, such as gorge walking. They go down into the mines. They do some orienteering, all sorts of things. And again, teaching them independent skills. They have to make their lunches, sort their dorms out, and all sorts of fun things like that. We also have the scrap store at Thameside, which is on our playground, that big blue building that you can see. We're really pleased to have this, and it's transformed our lunchtimes for our children. You can see the children in some of the photos there. They are basically playing with loose scrap parts donated to the scrap store companies, and they top us up about every half term, 6 times a year. You can see them with crates. They've got old plastic dustbin lids. They have suitcases, bits of cardboard tubing, things that would normally go into landfill are able to be recycled. And you can see our children have built dens. We've got a car down in the bottom right-hand corner. They love pushing themselves along in the crates. Every member of lunchtime staff has been trained in the scrap store. They're able to risk assess outside, but it's been fantastic to watch the children playing. And before COVID hit, we had when the whole school are out there, we have from foundation to Year 6, we don't put the children in separate areas. And the Year 6 children, it's lovely to see them working with the foundation children on the playground and enabling the children to mix. Obviously, to be COVID safe at the moment, the children are having to go into zones, and we're running our lunch times a bit differently, but we can't wait to get the scrap store back up and open for the children.
And so the children have opportunities to have key responsibilities in school. We have digital leaders, school council, and an eco council. So within each class, children can put themselves forward for these roles, do a little presentation on what would make them good for this role, and then the class use their British value of democracy to vote for their class leader. If a child is part of the class council or the digital leaders or the eco council, they get to attend meetings, make key decisions about the school, and they also get to go on trips as well.
And so we have a really proactive and supportive governing body at school. Dr. Elizabeth McCrum, that you can see to the left, she's the chair of our governing body. She works in the education department at Reading University, so she brings with her a wealth of knowledge and support. Many of our governors have children at our school. Some don't, but many do or did have in the past. So they're fully invested in our school and supporting us to develop and just get better and better and better. We do have a election out at the moment for a new parent governor. So there's regular opportunities to join if parents are interested.
So before I was the inclusion manager in Senko, I actually worked in foundation stage at Thameside. So because our foundation stage leader can't be here today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the first year at school would be like for your children. So the first year is really a partnership between you, your child and the school. And we think it's really important that we share lots of information with you along the way about how your child's progressing. So that could be more through the more sort of formal parents' evening meetings, reports at the end of the year, but foundation stage also have their learning journeys, which we use Tapestry for those, which you might be familiar with if you've got children. I think a lot of the local nurseries use Tapestry as well. So there'll be regular updates on Tapestry with photos and comments about how your child's learning is getting on. We also teach the children lots of key skills in their first year. So it's about us helping you and working together to teach the children to manage themselves and to be independent. So things like shoes and coats and collecting their own belongings and not losing their water bottle and things like that. They're all things that we work on together. So it's really important to us that we help the children have as smooth a transition as possible. So this is what would happen in a normal non-COVID year. So we have very close links with lots of our local nurseries. We know lots of the staff there very well. So we try to visit all our new children in their current settings. So we'll travel all around Reading to visit children because we know that sometimes children who may live in Caversham may go to a nursery somewhere else in Reading because of work arrangements, etc. So we'll try and make sure that a member of staff has visited them. The children then all get a visit to school. So they usually come in nursery groups so that there are other familiar children around them. And then we have home visits in September. So you can sign up for a home visit. If the class teacher and the class teaching assistant will come, and if your child has additional needs, then you are welcome to let us know, and I can come along as well. Children have staggered starts to school in September. That is good practice, and it's something we've done over a number of years, but that is parent choice. So when those staggered starts are kind of given to you, please do let us know if that doesn't work for you, because we can be flexible around those. Children are also given a little booklet about kind of key photos and things to look at over the summer. And then, so their school day in foundation stage, they have lots of opportunities to make their own decisions about their own learning. And we call that challenge time. In nurseries, it's often called free flow. So there's lots of activities and opportunities out that the children can choose between. We also have focused adult-led tasks, so that could be writing in their yellow books, or it could be reading or a maths task or any other intervention groups. We also have one-to-one reading for all our children. The foundation stage children absolutely love their outdoor learning, so they've got their own outdoor area. They're also often around and about all over the school, and they also have their nature school. Foundation stage children do go to assemblies when we're allowed to have them. So they normally start off with singing assembly, which they can move about a bit more and a bit louder, and then that's absolutely fine. That's how we introduce them to assemblies. The foundation children also have regular slots in the library and for PE.
So at Thameside, we have the TSA, the Thameside School Association. You might know it as the PTA, Parent Teacher Association, but at Thameside it's called the TSA. So Helen Jones, who's the chair of the TSA, she would like all parents to know that when your child starts at Thameside, you are automatically part of the TSA. You don't have to apply or anything like that. But if you would like to be more active in your role as part of the TSA, then you can get in contact with her through her details are on the school website, and then you could help out in things when we hopefully can have them again, things like the summer fair and other really big fundraising things that they put on, that they're incredibly supportive of the school, and that they've paid for things over the years like the outdoor classroom and the trim trail. They've just paid for a whole new class set of iPads as well. So the TSA incredibly, they're incredibly supportive of what the school does. At Thameside, we have wraparound care. So we offer breakfast club at 8 o'clock, and we offer also aftercare till 6 p.m. This is term time only. If you are interested in wraparound care and you do make the decision that you would like your child to come to Thameside in September next year, then I would get your name on the list as soon as possible. We have extended our numbers so that we are in line with all local schools. So we take in the same numbers that they do. And it's about getting your name on that list as soon as you can. We try and prioritise new parents coming in as well, but we also prioritise people that have got siblings in school. So I'm going to take you on a little tour around our school to show you a bit what it's like at Thameside. Normally at this point we would literally physically take you around in little groups, but I'll give you a little tour of what it would be like. So the school was built in 1906, so lots of areas of the school are quite old, and they've got amazing character features because of that. And other parts of the school are more newer builds, but the school has got a lot of space and a lot of spaces which we utilise really, really well. So if you came into the main office, which you can see the red doors, the first bit you'd see in the foyer there, you can see to the left all those little canvases on the wall. They're pictures of the children, as Miss Calvert was talking about on Aspiration Afternoon, in their Future Me costumes. And every year I take photos of a sample of children with a blackboard saying what they would like to be when they're older. And every year I refresh them, and those children get to take them home and put them up in their bedroom, remember what it is that they're working towards and who they want to be when they're older. Belonging is incredibly important to us as a school. I would say it's probably the most important value that everything else sits upon. And during COVID, rainbows were everywhere, and I asked some children if they could bring some in for me to put up in school following that. So our belonging boards are in all classrooms and around the school as well. So these photos were taken about 3 weeks ago now in foundation stage. So this is our current cohort of children. Every classroom has got a horseshoe table, which you can see the blue table in the middle. So all our classrooms across the school have this. All our classrooms also have reading corners. You can see the little boys in the bottom left reading in theirs. All the children have opportunities to work in foundation stage in small groups with the adult, and lots of opportunity for free flow inside and outside. They've got their own special outdoor area in foundation stage. If you're interested in having, I liken it to when my sister had a kitchen done and she sent me a link and I could hold my phone and look around the kitchen, imagining I was actually there. We actually have one of those virtual sort of shows, if you like, on our website. So if you go to About Us, and then there's a page called New Starters 2020. On there is a virtual tour where you can really look around the whole of foundation stage, and it's labelled as well. It tells you what different areas are. So I really recommend having a look at that. So the first classroom in foundation stage that you come to, this the first classroom is very big and spacious, and you can see in the bottom it's got its own toilets in the corner the children use, own art area, computers. The other classroom also has all of those things, and the children can flow between the classrooms. It's also got, through the double blue doors in the top right picture, there's an area we call the igloo, affectionately, because it used to be really cold. Don't worry, it's not anymore. But that area is also a breakout space for foundation stage. They have that as well, and they have their own outside area as well. And on a Thursday morning, they also have one of the doors off the classroom is to the computer suite, and they also have the computer suite to themselves every Thursday morning. So outside, the children have a fully stocked mud kitchen, and if you look at the tour on the website, you can see that in more detail. They love cleaning with the brooms. I don't know if they do at home as well, but at school it's very popular to go around cleaning. Top right, you can see the little boy making music with a boom whacker, which they absolutely love, making lots of noise. Mr. Brooks is one of our foundation stage teachers. You can see him in the bottom right, talking to some children outside. And the little girl's having a lot of fun in the middle. So our computer suite, we have a laptop. Every child in the class goes in there for their lessons, and they have a laptop each. There's interactive whiteboard in every classroom, and the children come in here for their lessons. But we also have a green screen facility upstairs in a group room space where the children can use the iPads. They can if they're doing about the Stone Age, they can actually put themselves in the Stone Age. So it's amazing. It's got all the lights, everything on this big green screen. So we also have a class set of iPads as well, and additional, every class has their own iPad as well. So this is an example of a Year 1 classroom. This was taken some weeks ago, so our displays have developed during that time, but it's just to give you a little flavour of what the classrooms are looking like. So we have placement rugs in the classrooms in Key Stage 1, and that's where the children know which bug or which shape or which face that they sit on. They also, at the moment, all the tables have to be forward facing for COVID risk assessment reasons, and every child's got their name label on the tables at the moment. This is another Year 1 classroom, so you can see the blotting board. They've also done about the colour monster to help the children. Following lockdown, we're particularly aware that some children have had a range of different experiences at home, and a range of different emotions linked to not being at school for such a long period of time, not being around their friends. So we've done a lot of work with the children on reintegrating them back into school and enabling them to talk about their feelings as well. So as part of that, every class also has a worry box, and every class has a happy box, because we want to hear about what maybe is not going well for a child, but also what is. So this is an example of a Year 2 classroom. You can see the growth mindset octopus on the wall. So every classroom has their own growth mindset display to remind children that, you know, you can't do it yet, but you will be able to, and the perseverance and the practice that's needed, and they will get there. So again, typically the Year 2 classroom would have been set up with the tables in groups, because we all our lessons use a wide variety of oracy and oracy techniques, and talking and speaking and listening. Difficult not having the table set up in groups, but that is just the way life is at the moment, so we're adapting. We have a Key Stage 2 activity area, and this is where Key Stage 1 have their aftercare in this area. In the top right, there's a fully stocked kitchen with specialist hobs that only work with certain pans, so it's all safe. That belonging display now has a garden display all over it that the whole school has contributed to, based on a book that we did in the first week of term. All the classrooms, as I said, have reading corners, so the children can have a turn every week in their reading corner where they can sit and they can really, as it says, dive into a good book and be comfortable and immersed. They love having their turn in there. Our school field at the top at the back, you can see we've got an adventure playground. That is incredibly popular. Children, foundation stage Year 6, love having a turn on it. We've also got new goals that have been bought this year as well over the summer holidays. And so we have a big green field, a big playground, and we also have a quad area that I'll show you in a minute. So this is from another angle of our playground. You can see some of the mile track. We've got lots of maths on the playground, lots of opportunities to use number and practice key skills outside, because that's really important. This is a longer view of the main playground. Typically there weren't the benches across like that, but we've used those to zone play areas at the moment because children need to stay in their classes. And there's the play pod that Mrs. Burton was mentioning earlier as well. At the far bottom, you might only be able to see it a little bit, but in front of the wall at the bottom, there's a trim trail that the children absolutely love as well. Our quad is just a fantastic area right in the middle of the school. It's a big rectangle of green, and many of the classrooms in the school empty out onto this space. So their classrooms are extended by the outdoors, which is just brilliant. So lots of, as you can see, classrooms go all the way around the outside of this space. We use it in lessons. Children eat their lunch out there. Staff eat their lunch out there. This space is really regularly used, and it's got the lovely feature of having the outdoor classroom in it as well, which, as Mrs. Burton mentioned earlier, we can use it in all weathers. Sorry, I think it's Miss Calvert actually, but we can use it in all weathers and be out there for lessons, and teachers can book this space as well. And it's got a little sensory garden next to it as well, where the children can smell nice things, and they love walking on the stepping stones as well. Our lovely library. So absolutely love reading, love books. The children, any child you ask around the school if I like reading, they will say, yes, I love books. Nearly all of my assemblies are based around books. So the children come in here, they have a slot that they can come in and change their books, pick their new ones. The Millionaire's Wall, you can see at the far back. The little room at the back of the library is called the conservatory, and that's a little space where children can go for ELSA, emotional literacy support. There's some computers back there. We also have parental engagement workshops back there. That's where we had fussy eating workshop. It's a really lovely space that Miss Rosamond's done a lot of work on. And they can see some other angles of our library as well. In our hall, so it was set up for Breakfast Club when this photo was taken, but you can see we've got lots of wall bars and equipment for gymnastics around. We've got crash mats, we've got trampettes, we've got a piano in the far right. When we could have assemblies all together in here, children would play us in on the piano or on their instrument of their choice that they can play. So we like to celebrate everyone's talents. Down the back sides of the hall, there are proper little changing rooms, because it's a fully functioning stage with lights, cameras, actions, the whole shebang, which is, we're really lucky, because when the school was originally built, it was a secondary school way back in 1906. And over the years, it changed and became a primary school, but that's why we have got it, because it was typical of secondary schools to have stages. We also have this area outside the Year 6 classrooms, and this is our storytelling area. You can see the chair in the middle of the trees, and this is a really nice space where children can come and sit in the hexagon, and either a child can sit on the storytelling chair and read to their peers, or the teacher can sit there as well. But the children love coming out in this space and utilising the outdoors. An example of Year 6 classroom, so they're doing about the Tudors at the moment. Every class to the right, you can see those colourful bits of paper pegged up. We have a wow at our writing display where we put hot task writing, which is where the children have learnt about a unit of writing a genre, and then they each time they do, their writing is added to this display, so the children can very quickly see the progress that they're making, and they get to take them home at the end of the year. The downstairs Year 6 classroom has the luxury of having a reading room as well, and we paid for an artist to paint on the wall a scene. So Letters from the Lighthouse, you can see in the middle, is one of the books that Year 6 use in their lessons, and the other books are in frames and drawn on around the outside as well. And the children like having their turn to sit on the sofa and read. It's the upstairs Year 6 classroom. Again, you can see there where at the writing, and they're doing about Tudors. Timeline is up on the wall to the right as well. They, as I said, they have their belonging boards. Everyone does. Children were encouraged to bring in pictures from home as well of family, so that they've got them up there, because obviously they were with their family for a long time at home during lockdown, and that's something that we're really mindful about, that they're going to miss them. So thank you so much for listening to us talk about our school. What we're going to do now is, at some point today, you will get a follow-up phone call from one of us that you've met today, and you will get to ask any questions that you've got specifically to your child, or about what you've heard us talk about today and you want a bit more information. So we really look forward to chatting to you then. If you're watching this video and you're not part of the live tour that we've got today, you're watching the recording of it, and you would like to speak to one of the members of SLT you've met today for a bit more information about the school, please let the admin team know in the office. Give us your phone number and we'll give you a ring and have a chat with you as well. But I'll just stop screen sharing so I can see everyone again. 2 seconds. Hopefully. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to all see me again in a minute. Miss Rollinson, can you see me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So parents, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to kind of be able to meet you, and we will get a chance to speak to you later today. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.